welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we're going to be trying a new format, Brawl. I love Standard, and I'm going to play a lot of Standard on this channel. That's not going to change, but there's a special event going on right now in Magic Arena that I believe goes through the 13th, where you can play Brawl with pre-constructed decks featuring new frickin' cards. New cards, guys. So we get a taste, we get to sample, we get to try some of these new cards from Throne of Eldraine early in this Brawl format. Now, they're not the most powerful cards. It's clear that they picked a very small subset of the set, like I think it's like 30 cards, something like that, and gave us some cards to play. So going over the deck doesn't mean a lot, to be honest, because they're pre-cons. It's not like I put a lot of effort into building this, somebody else did, but we can go over the general strategy. I can also do that from within the game. So here on this screen, I'm going to go over some of the new cards that are good. This is your Commander. This is Eldraine, Teller of Tales. Now, if you've never played Commander, Brawl is like Commander, but with 60 cards. It's a singleton format. You can only use one of each card. And you designate a legendary creature or planeswalker as your commander. Your commander's colors determine what you can run in your deck. It's called the color identity of the commander. And you can cast your commander from the command zone whenever you have the mana available to play the commander. If the commander gets bounced, exiled, destroyed, changes zones in any way, you can choose to send your commander back to the command zone, which is just kind of this little patch down at the bottom of the screen. And the cost of the commander increases by 2 each time it's destroyed or goes back to the command zone. And then you can play the commander again, but you have to pay 2 more mana to do it. So your commander is kind of your main card in the deck that you'll always have access to, and then you build the rest of the deck around that commander. All right, here's what we've got. This is Eldraine, Teller of Tales for 2 green, white, blue. This is our Bant commander. Vigilance, whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card, then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And 3, return a creature you control to its owner's hands. This is a 2/4. So this card ramps you, and it draws you cards, and it lets you bounce and replay your creatures. So this means that we want to build the deck around creatures with enters the battlefield's effects to trigger this many times, and we want to have a lot of mana to be able to play these creatures over and over and play all the cards from our hand. Now, I am going to make a video for each deck in this series, so if this isn't the deck of your choice, don't worry, we're going to play the other decks and hopefully you'll enjoy them a lot. But I'm going to tell you straight up, in this very first Brawl video, this is the best deck. It is. It just is. I played all of them. I did a stream. You can check out my Covert Go Live channel if you want to watch that footage, and you'll see exactly what I mean. But let's go down and find some notable new cards. So the Fairy Vandal is 2 mana for 1/2 flash flying. When you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on the Vandal. It's a pretty good little card for the deck, especially when you start drawing multiple cards. It's often a 2/3 the turn you play it if you have Eldraine on the battlefield. Then we have this Pixie is a nice little blue-green 2/2 flyer that can tap for mana. Pretty good little flying grizzly bear. Run Away Together is an excellent bounce spell. Look, it's like the Hunchback of Notre Dame running off with someone. Esmeralda. 1 and a blue, choose 2 creatures controlled by 2 different players. Return those to their owner's hand, so you can bounce your creature, bounce the opponent's creature. It actually comes up big in this deck, although I don't think it's a great card overall. Arcane Signet is in all the commander decks. Add 1 mana of any color identity in your commander's color identity. That's a complicated way of saying 1 mana of any color that you want to use. So Eldraine, green, white, or blue. Tome of Legends, when it has a page counter whenever you play a commander or whenever your commander attacks, you put a counter on it, you remove a counter to draw cards. So just another card advantage source. The Steelbane Hydra is green X. X is it's a Hydra. It's a good old Hydra. It's a turtle Hydra. Yeah. But for 2 and a green, you can remove a counter to destroy an artifact or enchantment. The Risen Acolyte is an example of the adventure. The adventure mechanic up there on the right, you can see says you may cast this card as an adventure after you do exile it. You may then cast the creature later from exile. So The first part is Season Ritual, which is a sorcery for a green, add a mana of any color. So that's just a mana fix, it's not a mana ramp. And then you can play the 2/3 out of exile to have a 2/3 that adds 1 mana of any color. So on turns 1 or 2, you get a mana of whatever source you need, and on turn 3, you get the 2/3 that can tap for a mana of any color. The other cards, where's it at? Fairy Formation, blue, 4, 5/4, flying, big mana sink here. 3 and a blue to create a 1/1 fairy creature token with flying and draw a card. So once you have 1,000,000 mana, putting this out there and cranking out a whole bunch of fairies is pretty sweet. Those are the key cards that I really want to talk about. The others we can talk about in-game. Actually, there is one more. Let's talk about Thorn Mammoth. Green, 5/6 trample. Whenever it enters the battlefield under your control, or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, the Mammoth fights one creature you don't control. This can be an absolutely amazing removal spell in the late game once you have a ton of mana, and the opponent has to kill it. And removal is a little few and far between in these decks. So the idea of your opponent always killing the good thing you play isn't as prevalent. All right, I've introduced the cards I want to introduce. I'm sure we can introduce others in the game if we need to. Let's go play. Mirror match to start with. We can see what our opponent is playing because we can see their commander right from the get-go. And it says up here in this helpful corner where you can also click and get a look at the card. So we have a ramp card, another ramp card, and some big and a bounce spell and Merchie Boy. So let's go. Pretty good hand. All right, this deck, the way that you want to play this deck is you want to ramp, and then you want to play the Tulane as soon as is convenient, but it's also really nice if you ramp first so that when you play the Tulane, you can get value immediately from other cards that you play at the same time. The Tulane lock, so to speak, is when you're bouncing a card with an awesome ability and playing it over and over. An example of such a card is Forbidding Spirit. If you can play the Forbidding Spirit again and again, the opponent will always have to pay a lot to attack, and the deck goes really wide, so that's pretty good stuff. Just a note, you do not get to keep these cards from the event. Just so you know. The cards you win you get to keep, but you don't get to play them until the new cards come out, which is kind of strange. But you don't keep the cards from the event. So the opponent without a ramp card, instead they have the 2/2 Biomancer's Familiar to reduce activated ability cost. That is going well for us. We want the Firemind's Vessel, which enters the battlefield tapped and taps for 2 mana of different colors, ramping us to 7 mana next turn. This can let us put Tulane on the battlefield and have Runaway Together open if we need to. We also have the 1 time wipe, our board clear in the deck, which is a really great card in this deck. Familiar's getting a bit jiggy with it. Here comes a mutant. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ooh, more ramp. We're going to keep the ramp coming, because why not? I'm going to hold on to Merchie Boy. I wanted to play Merchie Boy and Tulane on the same turn to get that immediate value. And I'm going to keep my Druid untapped, well, what would my opponent target this with? Actually, anything they target this with, I'm pretty happy about. Plus, if this gets bounced by Runaway Together from my opponent, I get to play it with the Tulane. So, I don't mind something happening to my Druid here. But really, I want to save Runaway Together to hit my opponent's Tulane. Right now, we have a huge mana advantage, which should put us really ahead in the race. So when you play this deck, prioritize hands that ramp first. Unless, of course, you're just dying. The Mardu Knights deck can put a hurt on you. That's probably the only deck fast enough to just beat you down while you're ramping. Alright, we got a District Guide. Are you ready? Here we go. Now we play District Guide. Draw a card. I was really hoping for a land there, but it's okay. We still have a land drop for the turn. Let's go make sure we grab an untapped land. I don't think it matters which one, because we already have Tron assembled with our 3 basics. And now we have Runaway Together open to our Paradise Druid, so we can pass the turn. When our opponent plays Tulane, we'll very likely end up bouncing it. No, the opponent's going to adapt the Druid. Now, the Druid's adaptation cost is cheaper because of the Familiar. A little bit of a combo there, and now the opponent goes for the Vessel. You see, they also understand the joy of ramp. The joy of the ramps. And it looks like they're going to pass the turn. I don't want to bounce this. I don't want to bounce anything. I really just want to focus on removing this card when the time comes, and possibly setting my opponent up for an epic time wipe. So we can save the Harpooner, we can save the Spirit, we can bounce the District Guide and keep developing our mana. But this has Vigilance, so we can also start this by attacking. Let's see if the opponent will block the District Guide or if I get some free damage. Alright, damage in. You'll also notice those starting life totals of 25. That's another little difference, little quirk in Commander. Or Commander, I believe, is 30 life, but a quirk in Brawl, we'll say. Return the District Guide. Draw a card. Put the land onto the battlefield. Ooh, the Hydra. To blow up the Firemine Vessel from the opponent. I think I like that. Take away the opponent's ramp. Well, they also have an Incubation Druid. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'll just play this on 4. That's not bad either. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. But our opponent's going to have a ton of mana. Hold on. We really want Runaway together. Play this on 2. And hold up the Runaway together. Let's make sure we add the mana correctly, or it's going to be weird. So we want to leave the Guild Gate up. A little bit of a hiccup in the client right here. But we want to leave the Guild Gate open and the Paradise Druid open, and then tap these two. Hello? I think I just froze the game. Okay. Or maybe I just can't make green? What does it say? 2 mana of different colors. Oh, psst, I'm an idiot. Brilliant, CGB. You make videos on the YouTube, CGB. You need to know these things. You need to know these things. So our opponent knows the deck. The 2 mana open definitely implies that we have Runaway together. I don't think they can play around it. And then what do we do? Do we get back the District Guide? Probably. Our opponent has big mana available. Is it time to use it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a lot of mana. A lot of mana. I wonder if I'm supposed to use the Runaway together, though, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. I think my opponent will replay it again and then we time wipe. No, the opponent has a time wipe. Interesting. Very interesting. So what do we want to bounce? I guess I want the Hydra back to take on the Firemine Vessel. But this also means we have to bounce a creature of our opponent's, which I don't really want to do. But I do want the Hydra back. Actually, I want the Chilean back quite a bit. I don't want to pay extra for him, but oh well. I think I do need to make sure I get the Hydra. The opponent will get all their things back, which, you know, good for them. But now we get to time wipe our opponent. Our Chilean dies, but we'll have to come back for 7, which is a lot. Don't love it. So here's your option, Command Zone or Graveyard. You might have a reanimation spell, which is a reason you may wish to put the creature in the graveyard, so you always have the option when there's a change of zones. Uh-huh. Oh, what a draw. Alright, then we have 4 mana left over. What does the 4 mana do? We can play our little ramp critter. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah. What a draw to set the opponent back again. We can also just run the Hydra out there. Having the Hydra on the battlefield threatens the vessel, which I think is more important than having a large creature. So that's what we'll do. Now we also have this sweet way to bounce the Meteor Golem with the time wipe, replay the Meteor Golem, and keep removing this if we can get it set up. We do need to dodge our opponent's Hydra to kill our Meteor Golem. Growth Spiral. Opponent's digging, but they don't have another land. That's a big deal. Land is important here. The bad news about that is our opponent has 6 spells, but if you have enough land, it's hard to run out of things to do because you keep replaying your commander, of course. Alright, here's some mana dorks. We draw Blossoming Sands off the top. Do I have a way to kill? I guess I could. Alright, so we use our Hydra. Assassinate that vessel. Can kill the mana. I can kill the mana dorks, but I could also just wait till the Chilean comes back and try to make the opponent pay extra for it. I think I like that better. Alright, so you back on the battlefield? Put the pressure on our opponent to do something about it? Yeah. It is scary to think the cost might go to 9. We'll see what our opponent does with their turn. They could spend 7. Then they'd only have 1 left, playing out the commander. And here it comes. So that's good. That's what we wanted. Now we get to do some nasty things. The opponent gets a little value. The Forerunners. Not quite good enough yet. So we don't want to do that. But what we do here is we return 1 creature, then we time wipe and return another. Do I like my Hydra that much? There aren't that many artifacts to deal with. So let's pay the 3. Now let's time wipe. Return this to my hand. Because it's cheaper to cast back out of the hand. Send the opponent's things away. And now I'll play out the mana creature, but let's hold on to the Harpooner. Do I deploy the Harpooner as well? What do you say? Haste. Other creatures get Vigilance and Trample, not Haste though. Just seeing if having another body on the field would be that good. But I'm going to keep saving it. Play the long game. This deck is, by the way, the long game. It should just be called the long game. It could literally dirtle forever. It is the control deck of the format by... Well, Esper would love to compete for that crown. It really can't. This is the control deck. And as you see, the cost adjustment here, you see cost modified there on the right. We're up to 9 mana if the opponent wants to play Chilean because of how many times we've destroyed him. Fairy Formation and a Crawl Harpooner from the opponent, but this is why we saved our Crawl Harpooner. The opponent knows about this Meteor Golem, but we want to save our Meteor Golem to target this as often as possible. And we can play this from the hand for 5. The modified cost doesn't affect the card while it's in your hand. And yeah, this game has gone extremely well for us. And now we'll play out our 4/5 cat. When 1 or more non-human creatures deals damage to a player, draw a card. So, in combat, if some non-humans punch face, you draw a card. Opponent draws their Risen Reef. Honestly, I did not realize this was in the deck. I have never drawn this card while playing this deck. Did they hack? Did they sneak it in? I've literally never drawn it. Okay. Strong. The bane of the game. Oh, look at that. The opponent found incongruity. Send our commander back, and now our commander costs 9 to play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. 13 mana. I think I can Forerunner you and win. So that's 7 plus 8, 9, 10, 11 plus 7, 18. Our opponent has 1 toughness. Should do it. Should be Xaxes. And we got him. Jund. We are playing Jund. So another difference in this format is you get one free mulligan. I'm going to keep this hand because I have Time Wipe, but when thinking about your free mulligan, you may want to mulligan hands without ramp, especially in this deck. Ramp cards are extremely important to this deck and this format. So I'm going to keep this one because I have my colors and exactly because I have Time Wipe to reset a board and buy me time. But typically I wouldn't want to keep a hand without my colors and some ramp. And even if I'm missing a color but I have ramp I can cast, I'll keep it usually. We have the Flower Flourish to go get another land as well. Wayfinder. Let's go get second green. Next turn is Wayfinder, and what are we looking for? We look at our top four for a creature or a land. I guess I'd love a ramp. A rample-bamp. Got him. And we'll play the land that well, if we play this, we have the option to Murchy Boy next turn, which might be the play. If our opponent has a good beatdown start. I will take you. So, our opponent plays Woodland Champion. The Jund deck has Corvold, the Cursed King. It's a cool dragon creature. 5 mana for a 4/4 flying dragon, Dragon Noble. Whenever this enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put a counter on Corvold and draw a card. So, whenever you sacrifice things, you draw cards. Now, we've got a Woodland Champion out here. That kind of shows you that we also make tokens, and tokens are great things to sacrifice. It's a good way to introduce yourself to the food token thing, which is kind of something in this set. So I could attack with the Wayfinder, but I don't want to be aggressive, to be honest, at all. The longer the game goes, the harder I am to beat. My deck is full of answers to all kinds of permanents and board states. So if I get my mana together, I'm pretty safe. Therefore, I don't want to be aggressive. Let's hold back. Savvy Hunter is a 3/3. When it attacks or blocks, create a food token. Here's our first look at a food token. Sacrifice this artifact, gain 3 life for 2 mana. Yay! Look at that, pigs and eggs and stuff. Apparently food is always a big part in fairy tales. Just something I never really thought about until this set put it front and center on me. So here, I think the play is to adapt the Druid. We could run out our Chilean, but I think having an adapted Druid is better. That said, we are pretty much setting up a Time Wipe, and adapting a Druid is taking a turn off for that. I don't know if I love it. But I do want Meteor Golem available, so we're going to pass. So here's the idea. Make food tokens. You can sacrifice 2 foods for a card, but make food tokens, sacrifice them to the Cursed King. That's mainly what the deck is looking to do. Judith. Okay, the opponent not going for the Cursed King yet. Holding back. Very disciplined. Now we could block the Savvy Hunter and adapt our Druid. But the 1 point from the Judith will kill the Druid, so that's not worth it. We could avoid taking this 4 damage. You see the food token entering the battlefield triggers the champion. So we're getting ready to wrath the board. We do need to take care of our life total. Let's put a block down. Just keep our life total nice and high. And adapt. So 8 mana. What do you do with it? I believe we can bring out Chilean and play Forbidding Spirit Murchy Boy, and that will keep the opponent from attacking for a turn. I think the opponent will take their turn to play their dragon, and then that can be an opportunity to Time Wipe This can return the Murchy Boy first, and then we can return this to our hand with the Time Wipe. And I think that leaves us reasonably far ahead, especially if we get to draw some cards in ramp here. No ramp. Runaway together is nice, though. Now we'll put it on our opponent. Figure out how to mess with us. Hey guys, Merchant here, and today you will not be attacking me. Haha. Grade the impression. F for fail. E for epic. Here comes our dragon friend. Now we could also set back the dragon and let the opponent keep this board and keep developing and doing stuff. Hey, we drew the Risen Reef. I think I actually like that a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 still. This is 3, this is 3, this is 3, 3, 2? 3, 3, 2 probably? Alright. So you go back to hand. You go back to hand. Play the engineer so we have some ramps. More mana next turn is good. Yeah, we can put that on the battlefield. Yeah, we'll put that on the battlefield too, yeah! And we also have Incubation and Meteor Golem, so we can keep holding back the, we can keep doing this for a while. Like this, we can hold back the Corvold. And this is the Dirtle deck. Like I said, the longer we play Magic, usually the more we win. It is very hard for our opponents to beat us in a long, long game. Also, if you are playing the Curse King, you do not want to sacrifice your lands, and you don't want to sacrifice your creatures. You really want to sacrifice food. It is very important to sacrifice food in this deck. Alright, the opponent pays for their attack. They get the food token. No blocks. Alright. Do we exile the Judith? Is the Judith a big enough problem that we want to do that? So this is part of the part of the nonsense. We can do this again and again and again. And once we have enough mana, we just keep developing regardless, keep drawing more and more cards, while our opponent has to pay all this mana if they wish to attack us. It's kind of rude. Yeah, let's play out Shark Doe Crab. Beanstalk Giant. We'll pass the turn here. Beanstalk Giant says, Fertile Footsteps, the adventure part, sorcery, search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle for 3 mana. Pretty sweet. And then for 7 mana, you can cast this from exile, and you have a 7/7 or you have basically something with power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. Oh, our opponent found a solution. Look at this. They have Finality. One of Finality in the deck. So where do we put you? Not in the graveyard. You go to the command zone. But brutal play. Plus with the Judith trigger, they get to kill off the Incubation Druid. Nicely done. Alright, if we draw a land off the top. Nope, we draw Frilled Mystic. The opponent still couldn't attack because of Murchy Boy. So the question now is, what do we play for a follow-up to compete with the opponent and their nonsense? Is this battlefield tapped? No, it's just onto the battlefield. So I can do this and Time Wipe. That would get rid of our opponent's stuff. Then they bring out Corvold. We can Meteor Golem the Corvold. Or Thorn Mammoth something that's not that big and go from there. Yeah, we should blow up this board as well. I really wish I could get value out of this. If I play the Reef first, it's possible I could reveal a land, but I don't think that's worth it. Adventure Zone, baby. Enter the Adventure Zone. Onto the battlefield. Time to the wipe. Make sure you read your ramp cards, especially when they're new. If it says put onto the battlefield tapped, and if it says put onto the battlefield, those are very different things. Here comes the Curse Dragon. You're going to pitch an Angrath or a food token, and it's the food token. I've pitched the Angrath many a time. So this is probably the Mammoth. We could also drop the Meteor Golem, but the Meteor Golem can deal with this at any size. So I think I like the Mammoth here, which is going to straight up fight the 5/5 and send it back to the command zone. Now this card is freaking sweet. It says whenever the Mammoth or another creature enters the battlefield. So if the opponent fails to kill the Mammoth this next turn, but they play another creature instead, we just play any other creature and the Mammoth will fight whatever the opponent played. It's pretty epic. It's also not a May. So if the opponent were to play a 7/7, our Mammoth would have to fight it. Awkward. And we can't fight the hexproof thing, obviously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's about time to start holding up Frilled Mystic and keep developing mana. As much as I love Risen Reef, I think I want to play you. Anyway, first things first. Thorn, Mammoth, Red Zone. Not too worried about this Angrath. Although taking it out could... There is something to be said for taking out the Angrath. It's what I'm sure the opponent most wants to sacrifice to the dragon. But this for sure makes a mana for me next turn, so that's going to be my play as opposed to the Reef, and then we hold up the Frilled Mystic. By the way, Frilled Mystic and Chillane, a lock that counters a spell every single turn, it's the only counter spell in the whole format. You do not have to play around counter spells, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. I don't think so, though. You do not have to play around counter spells, except for Frilled Mystic. And there's the scoop. As you see, not interested in scrapping with the Frilled Mystic. Mm-hmm. No white mana. We could take that free mulligan, but we also have Ramp, a good removal spell if we find the white mana, a decent removal spell if we don't. I'm gonna try this. Against the Jund deck, I don't think this card is very good. Not too many flyers. The commander, of course, is a flyer, but it's usually too big for the harpooner to fight without some help. Alright, let's Growth Spiral, and here's the draw, and we got a white source. So you're the Gilgate that gets to come down. Our opponent with Dreadhorde Invasion. This is a key card in the deck, and if the Jund deck can have any card on turn 2 in this format, it wants Dreadhorde Invasion, so that there's always something to sacrifice to the core vault. You don't want to sacrifice your land ever, and a development is way too important. Alright, the opponent is off to a hot start. I think we do what we do. We ramp up. Take some damage, probably. And we'll try to find a way to recover. We need some bodies to pair off with these. There's an Orzhov Enforcer, which is more good food. This is another pretty good card that the deck can draw. The deck has a lot of bad draws, is kind of why I pick on the Jund deck a bit. It has a lot of cards that just do nothing in the deck. Let's go for the Fairy Formation, I think. It's that, or we could go right for the commander. It's going for the Jugular. It's a tough one. Either one I could see doing. But yeah, let's go for this. Force the opponent to have removal here, now, ready. I think what they're going to do is play Korvold. And when they play Korvold, I want to be able to Prison Realm Korvold back into the command zone and play the Fairy Formation. The incongruity side is far more important than the incubation side in the format. The removal it matters a lot. And like I said, this is usually a control deck trying to play the longest possible game of Magic. Is it dragon time? You've got something good to sacrifice to the dragon. This is like the perfect start for the Jund deck. Everything that they want. Here we go. Dragon into play. Food token 8. Nom nom. Card into hand. Full swing. You can block this to prevent a little bit of damage. Thornwood falls off the top. So the sequencing here is going to be the Fae formation into the Prison Realm. We need to make sure that we don't tap our white mana, though. Oh, well, we drew a white mana anyway. So we've got you now. And this card is pretty sweet. For 4 mana, we can make a fairy. This says whenever you cast a creature spell, so it doesn't trigger this, but we still draw a card when we make a fairy. And those cards can line up and give our opponent a tough time. Also, we have Vigilance. Ooh, yeah. We have Vigilance on Chilane, so might as well smork. And we'll play this tapped life gain land. Where's our Field of the Dead? Why didn't they put Field of the Dead in this deck? Just kidding. That's what we all need, more Field of the Dead decks. So we have enough mana that we can bounce the formation and then use the Time Wipe to also bounce the Chilane. Or we could also bounce our Gyre Engineer. Ooh, we need to find a solution to this. This says whenever a creature you control dies, you gain a life and draw a card. That's a problem. Alright, don't want to block any of this. Yeah, this makes it so I do not actually want to Time Wipe right now. I want to solve my issues by making fairies. We could also dig for a creature. I know that I said the removal part's important, but we do have cards that can deal with this, right? The Hydra. We need our Turtle Hydra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we can afford to dig. Found Turtle Hydra. Alright, we put a land into play when we cast you, so how much does it take to play this and blow up your 2 enchantments? If we play you for 2, then we have 6 mana left over. That works. And I think I do just want to blow these enchantments up, not let them get any worse for me. Blow you up. Now we can save the other activation till after we block, because as long as nothing is going to die, this is fine. Fairy formation, do you want to stay home? Yeah, you can hold off the Savvy Hunter. And if nothing's about to die, we might even want to put a... Well, I guess we can't put another counter on it, but we could bounce this, replay it, and do that next turn, and not give up our Hydra. It could matter. We'll see. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Okay. What's that mean? Sweeper incoming? So we block like this. Hit the block button. Pitch the Hydra, kill the Reclamation. Now you get no card draws. Yay, Turtle Hydra, you did it! So is this a finality? Taste of Death. Each player sacrifices 3 creatures. Yep. And make 3 foods. That's our opponent's version of the sweeper. Alright, you can come back out. And we can Druid. The joys of having a ton of mana. Go ahead and pitch this off. Somebody gave me some heat. Gave me some, didn't you know that you can sacrifice Evolving Wilds on your opponent's end step to conserve information? Yes, I know. I'm lazy. I don't like having to click 3 times to conserve information. I'll save that for the Pro Tour. As a younger boy, I always cracked my Evolving Wilds on the opponent's end step As a man, I know it matters just about not at all. Not worth my 3 clicks. Alright, Corvald's back. Comes that token. Ooh. Combined with Chilane, that is a beating. The question, though, is... do we have to deal with this now, or do we give the opponent a turn to smash their hand onto the field and then wipe, then time wipe? All this flying nonsense is scary. Very scary to me. Alright, I'm gonna wait a turn. 1 turn. Not bad. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. And I want to use the bounce ability, so I don't think I use you right now. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Actually, I can, can't I? We can go adventure mode. Probably need more green. Oh well. Yes. So if you sacrifice some food, I see where you can get up to a pretty healthy amount of damage. It's really scary. Remember, these cost 2 mana each, and the opponent gets a free sacrifice on the attack. So that makes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Find broking. Okay, what you getting? I'm okay with more creatures entering the battlefield. Let's see what our opponent gets with the Find Broker. Has to be a permanent, so they can't get the taste of death. Can't get the taste of death out of their mouth. God, that sounds like a really badass line. Dreadhorde Invasion, the key card. We'll have to frill that. Sharktocrab. And 1 more card down. That would have been really nice this turn. Which is Oven. Let's see. Sacrifice a thing, make 2 food. Now you can hit me really hard. Yep. Who's bouncing? We can bounce the Mystic, then untap bounce the Reef. Seems good. Down to 4. Time to figure out how to stay alive. This is going to be a tough one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 1, 2, 3, 8. Alright, still plenty of mana to go. So, activate you. Bounce you. Tap you for mana. Wipe the boards. Opponent can make some food with the oven. That's pretty great. That's nice. Put something in the oven. Don't you want some food? You got some pie over here, and some pie, and some more pie. Also, the opponent gets to draw, because that's how this card works. Pretty awesome card. Hand. So that we don't have to pay the extra mana to replay the Chilane. And now we hold up the Frilled Mystic. What are you up to now? 9? 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's their whole turn if they ever want to try to resolve you again. And if they don't, like we play the Mystic, then next turn we play this. As soon as we can start replaying this. Don't think I care about you. That's fine. Not afraid of the 2/2. I know I'm low on life, but Not that afraid. Paradise, huh? No, that's fine too. What we want to do is have enough mana next turn to Chillane, play like a Risen Reef, and still have a Mystic open. And we have just enough mana to do that. Alright, that can't happen. Alright, they forced out my Mystic, which is a bit unfortunate. Plus the Crater Maker can kill it. It's kind of awkward and sad. Means that we can't set up the endless Mystic loop, but it's okay. We definitely aren't doing this. No way. Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this kill it? Colorless. No, it's white. You white. You're the whitest of artifacts. That would have been quite a tilt. But we are at 4. We're in what is considered a precarious position. We'll send this Parahelion to do the job next turn. What you thinking? What you thinking about? Crater Maker cannot go face. Can take out the Frilled Mystic if you like. Okay, Frilled Mystic down. I feel like this game is going to come to a conclusion soon. The grind fest is coming to an end. Oh my. The Thousand Eyes. 5 insects. And a Krenko! Holy cow, the opponent's hand was beefing up. Did these have vigilance? Yeah? Yeah, do. This one's coming down to the wire, folks. Let's get our options. 1, 2, 3. What are you to adapt? 4? And we have 4 mana after that. So let's play the Reef. Get some activated ability here. Alright. Tap land, not the greatest. Come on, Reef, show me something good. So we could tap something down, or we could play another creature trying to draw into more creatures. Or we could play the Keeper of Fables, which I think draws a card when this hits. But this has the potential to draw into more creatures. And I think the more blockers, the better. So we'll have 2 angels, that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That leaves 2 things getting through, which leaves us alive. But we have to tap the Shark to Crab to attack, remember. So I don't think tapping something down with the crab is where we want to be. And yes, we drew a 2-drop. Weird gamble paid off. Still don't feel good about it. Oh, I would have felt a lot better with this in my hand. That's what she said. We're not doing phrasing. No. Not right now. Not the time. Yeah. Angel time. All that vigilance. But can the opponent get through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gets 2 creatures through. They need 2 removal spells or a way to buff their tokens. A Judith would be so lethal, it's not even fair. And I think they still have the Judith. Man, what I would give to have this available. I just have this warm, fuzzy feeling if I had Run Away Together available right now. But it was the last card we drew. What's it gonna be? Everybody. Everybody. Actual everybody. Do I block with Parahelion? This says whenever it attacks. I don't think that's worth it. Too risky to trigger it. If the opponent has a removal, it would be a mistake. Angel up. Take 3? Nope. Here we go. Take 2. What you got? You got a trick? I'm trying to think of the cards in that Jund deck, and the main one I think of is Judith, which would be so GG, but it's hard to think of anything else. I can't think of something else in this deck that gets them there. We got some card drawing from the Ink Eyes. That's good to see. Still going here. Up to 9. Up to 5 cards in the hand. Huge collection of food. Down to 2. Too little life, but the Parahelion threatening to come over and end the game. Leyline Prowler, that's game. That is definitely game. Holy cow. Close one. Close one. I hope you enjoy this little break from Standard for the Eldraine Courtside Brawl, getting to check out some new cards and this new Brawl format. I want to thank my sponsors, CoolStuffInc.com, promo code CGB5 for 5% off, and Esports Gold. Also, HauntedFlower.com, promo code CGB gives you 10% off. So thank you to them. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. You guys are amazing for supporting me for this long, and I appreciate all of you. You can send me your deck lists as a patron, and I will give you advice, ideas, and thoughts about your deck. So if you want deck advice from CGB, check out Patreon. There's a link in the description. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.